Hi, what's up? Welcome back to Board Game Bites by Tabletop Nights. I'm Greg and I'm joined by Victor.
How you going?
Yeah, that's very sexy.
Keep it
Yeah.
Aussie.
On the down low.
How you doing?
This is our little podcast where we talk about everything that we've seen recently, things we've heard about, things we want to see, where we want to go, where we want to be.
Absolutely. It's been doing pretty well. I've really been enjoying the feedback we're getting. We're getting a few people leaving comments disagreeing with us, which is fantastic because that's what it's all about. It's an open dialogue. Again, this podcast is available on a video podcast on YouTube, youtube.com/tabletopnights, or it's also available on Spotify. Just type in Board Game Bites and it'll pop up.
All good,
absolutely, yeah.
podcast
Platforms.
Platforms.
Yeah.
That's what they call platforms.
Yeah, so we're pretty big now. We're on Spotify.
So you'll see from the headline that we want to have a little bit of a chat about Magic the Gathering to get started.
Yeah, so we're actually live at Boss Board Games. Well, not live. We're recording from Greg's shop in Boss Board Games. Mentone, Boss Board Games. So come out, check it out. If you're in Australia, I think 5% of our viewers are. And also you have to be local. So it's a very small percentage.
Well, no, look, we do deliveries. So,
yes, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I came in and asked, I was like, Greg, are you going to be stocking the upcoming Magic the Gathering Lord of the Rings set? Because I think it looks fantastic. I probably won't be buying any because I know as soon as I buy one pack, it's a dangerous, expensive path leading down a windy road. What was your response to that?
I can't remember. What did I say?
You said people asked for it.
If people ask for it, there's so many sets coming out that I can't keep up. So, being a small retailer, obviously I can't stock everything.
Yeah.
So I try and stock what I like or things that I've played and I think are really good. But I've found with Magic the Gathering, like Pokemon, every 3 months a new set comes out.
Yeah.
Great. Magic the Gathering seems to be something coming out constantly. And people will come in and go, do you have that? And I go, yeah, I've got one box over there that I got in for someone else and no one's bought it.
Yeah.
Right? So, again, I don't have an open play space. So if I did, I could have tournaments and go, right, coming up on the 15th of July, we'll be running Magic the Gathering for Lord of the Rings.
Have you played Magic the Gathering before? Is that...
So I played it when it had numbers. So I played Series 8.
Okay, right.
So now they don't even call them Series whatever.
Yeah, I used to play it back when it was like, when it was just like a forest set or just a water set.
Yeah, so
it wasn't mixed and really.
Oh, okay. Well, there was like Mirrodin was a fairly new sort of thing, I think, back then.
Yeah.
And they introduced artifacts and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, so I must have played after that.
Yeah, so Series 8 was more, your red, black, green, blue, white.
Yeah.
And then they started adding and adding and adding. And then and again, tell us, because I don't know, maybe you know, Victor, is it the same game reskinned? Now, I know there's probably billions of combinations of different things they can add, pluses and minuses and instants and whatever. But I go, okay, now that there's a Doctor Who theme coming out.
Yeah.
There's you just mentioned
Lord of the Rings
one. There's sort of Mafia. There's Yakuza, Japanese.
A sales down.
Well, they're obviously trying to appeal to new people to bring them into the game.
Yeah.
But does it play differently? And then if I've spent, let's say I've spent $1,000 on Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
And in a year's time, is my set now
not as strong because there's new mechanics?
Am I allowed to play? In tournament play, you have to play within certain realms.
Yes.
And of course, that's a way of selling more product. We get that.
I feel like Magic the Gathering is like being a doctor. You've got to constantly study the new ways to do certain things. Stay up to date, exactly. So that's why I haven't been able to jump back onto Magic the Gathering, because I watch the occasional tournament video and they're going nuts. They got dice, they got counters everywhere, blah 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 blah, like insane. It's like, man, that is nowhere near the Magic the Gathering I used to play. And we're not saying it's a bad thing. We're just more putting the question out to you. What do you think about that? We do have a pack here.
Well, sorry, just before you do that, obviously there's people resell stuff too, though. There'll be super powerful cards that you go, you must have this in your deck. I'm going to resell it for, I don't know, $80 or
that's true.
Or whatever it
there
might
is a
be.
collector's opponent to that, yeah.
But, and obviously Magic the Gathering and Mr. Richard Garfield, they don't get that money from the resale.
No.
and they're quite happy to keep this thing going along. But I just wonder, it doesn't seem to be running out of steam, is it? Tell us.
Yeah, let us know.
From your local play space. But does it does it excite you when a new set comes out? Or do you get frustrated that, well, hang on, what do I do with this massive box of stuff I've got over here?
See, with Pokemon especially, it's not saying people don't collect Magic, because people do and they buy and sell. But Pokemon, I'd say, is probably 90% collecting, whereas Magic Gathering is probably, 50% collecting as opposed to playing. If I was to buy Magic, it's to play, not to collect. Whereas I do buy the occasional Pokemon pack, and it's in the hope that I do get a big pool. So that's why it's different to Pokemon. Whereas Pokemon, no matter what set you release, it's always popular. It's always booming. It always sells.
Yeah, I haven't found one child come in and say, I play the game.
Which is scary.
I don't play Pokemon.
Yeah.
I just collect the cards. They look, and I trade them at school.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And I was the same with me. I never played it growing up.
I've actually played the game.
I've never played Pokemon.
It's not a bad game.
I've never played Pokemon.
It's not a bad game. There's with traps and bits and pieces and all sorts of stuff going on.
Yeah, the same thing. So they obviously live evolved Pokemon. They got the VMAX and all that sort of stuff.
Now the Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, exactly. So we thought we'd open up a pack and just have a look to see if we understand any of the cards. Which camera is it?
Yeah, the next button, mate. No, the one right next to no,
that one.
That one. That's
all right. Cool. So we got what is that? Phyrexia. Let's open this bad boy up. I purchased this pack.
So I don't know when Series 8. I'll look it up now.
Actually, is there a card trick? What is this back? Oh, there we go. So it's already something I don't understand. There we go. We get a art series. That's a cool little card. I don't mind that. Maybe that's to make sure they can't be weighed.
Yeah.
74 of 81. Don't know what that means. If you see any rare cards here, please let us know, because I have no idea if they're worth anything.
8th edition was 20 years ago.
Okay.
That's when I played it.
I was probably playing it about 5 years after. So, again, I don't know if this one's rare. Titanic Growth seems to be the holo.
I think they've had Titanic Growth before. That's a green one, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. Understand that card quite easy. We've got Razor Verge Thicket. Razor Verge Thicket enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. That makes sense too.
So, again, just with this +4/4,
yeah,
there must be heaps of cards that have that on it.
Yeah, and that's quite a cheap card as well. 1 land, or 2 lands.
But it's just literally it's an old card with a new skin on it.
Okay.
So, they can't keep making brand new everything.
It does sort of, yeah.
But if I had this old one, which might have been called Giant Growth, I think, for example, I can't play that if I'm in a tournament.
Hey, be careful, man. It might be worth something. I'm joking.
I charged you $2 less, so I get to touch them. All right, back to your camera. What do we got?
I'm curious to see. Flying, whenever Thrumming Bird deals combat damage to a player, they gain pro life rate. So that, again, that'd be easy to learn what pro life rate does, so that's not too complicated.
Proliferate.
Proliferate, yep. Atraxia Skitterfang enters the battlefield with 3 oil counters on it. So oil, I don't know anything about.
Well, I don't know what proliferate is in Magic the Gathering.
So that's.
And I don't know what oil is. Yeah.
Flying. Eagle, yep, easy card to understand. So it doesn't seem to be too much in there that I couldn't just basically get straight back into it and start playing.
Look, there's always new keywords that come out,
for
sure. But again, on the oil one, the oil counter is just something that says later on you can spend that oil counter to do something.
Yeah.
You could call the counter whatever you want.
Oh, and 1 land. That's nice of them to add that in. It's like a hollow land.
Oh, that one's probably worth about $8 million.
Yeah, is this the chase card?
Send your bids to Boss Board Games.
I don't know, that didn't go as well as I thought. I thought I wouldn't understand these cards as much as I do, but they're pretty basic, to understand.
But I think it has to be, because if you completely remake the game every time you put out a set, and a lot of these abilities will be very similar to existing ones.
I mean, these cards are fantastic. I love the art of this game so much.
That's never been an issue with Magic.
No, it's so, I do love the Magic set. Well, I'll look up the value of those later.
Well, look, I suppose while we're talking about on games that can cost you a lot to get into,
yes,
it probably compares well with Warhammer.
Warhammer is a game that I never really played it properly. Like, we had our own homebrew of it, me and my friend in high school.
Oh.
We used to, like, follow the rules as much as we could, but we'd have our own sort of... I sort of forget the details.
Dumbed them down
We dumbed it down because we were, 13, 14.
Yep.
And I used to collect Empire, he used to collect the goblins. We would do a really poor job painting them. But then they went into the Warhammer 40k, and obviously I was going into high school at that stage, and so I... not that there's anything wrong with playing Warhammer, but we sort of put the Warhammer aside and started to play with other humans a bit.
Oh, well, that's what, video games were more popular too.
That's true. That is true. And so I've always wanted to get back into the hobby, but it's same as Magic the Gathering. It seems like it's a really hard game to just jump in on. I don't feel like there's going to be a lot of beginners out there that I can play against. I'm only going to be playing against like experts, and the amount of time you have to put into this game. There's nothing wrong with that. People wanting to glue the minis together, paint them, put them up. But I'm just thinking there needs to be an easier start point.
Yeah, because the start point seems to be a $300 Australian core set, which is like the Tau or whatever it is, right? Yeah. And you go, but then you need to have someone else who's going to go in, and then each. You buy a speeder and that's another $80.
Yes.
So you buy a few Ultramarines or whatever it is you want to have. But I think the cost comes from it being a model kit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind, to be honest, seeing a CMON type Warhammer game.
Yeah.
I know Fantasy Flight did some Horus Heresy and things like that, which were Warhammer based.
Yeah.
Where the minis are already an actual just molded, blow molded minis with maybe pre-painted.
Even if
as a starter set,
even if they skip the gluing part, that's something.
Like WizKids would do a starter set of X-Wing.
Yep.
Let's have a little Warhammer starter set, and maybe there's something out there you can let us know in the comments. But if you go, it's going to cost me $100. I've got two little ones, like Legion.
Then
I
can
get two little squads. Maybe I can just play
a 5-on-5, little ones, and then that will sort of build out to the Warhammer world. That way, you can see if you enjoy that type of gameplay first, because there's no real jumping on point for cheap, which is a bit shit.
Well, I was thinking we might actually try on the channel. Hopefully, people let us know in the comments if you'd watch it. Do a couple of Space Hulk missions.
Okay.
So Space Hulk is, I think I've got like 2nd edition.
Okay.
Because I bought a whole big box of them and sold them all for like megabucks when they were rare. But Space Hulk is like Ultramarines and the Gene Stealers.
Yes. Okay.
In scenarios.
That's cool.
It's more of a board game than Warhammer.
I do like that sort of stuff. Yeah.
But that might be a fun one for us to play.
Yeah, and I wish they would go back towards that old medieval theme as well. Not that like there's I love Star Wars and stuff like that. Which, is actually technically Star Wars is ancient times, galaxy long.
It's a long time ago in the galaxy.
Yes, exactly. So, but no, I actually really wish that Warhammer would maybe steer back towards old school stuff, because it does seem that if you do have Empire and Goblins, that they've almost forgotten about you. Like, don't worry, we're not really supporting that part of the game anymore.
We could try Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but I've
Shadow of Ice and Fire.
If the show was ended well.
No, but I mean, again, it's just a tabletop battle game.
Yes, so we are considering getting into Shatterpoint on the channel more. That's something we want to get into because we both love Star Wars. Again, they've got a core box coming out soon.
A core box which is enough to play, I think it's got like 14 or 15 minis and terrain, and it's enough to play 2 sides, which is great.
And how much is it?
In Australia, it's about 270 Australian dollars.
Again, no, it's not cheap or anything like that, but it's a new starting point. So we're hoping to incorporate that into the channel. So let us know if that's something you want to see, because I definitely want to.
And the distributor in Australia, if they want to send us any to review or have a go at,
100%.
We're not going to mention them here because I don't want to put them on the spot. But we have emailed them. We are on their list, so we are hoping that they'll.
Hopefully, that would be
great
epic.
if they could. And then we will certainly put their name here.
But that's something we want to get into. So make sure you leave a comment.
I really like the look of the rule structure for Shatterpoint.
Yeah.
And it looks like we'll be able to literally, you can make your own terrain. You can add that into it as long as you follow the rules, the governing rules.
And there's nothing wrong with Warhammer. Like, it's a huge game. And
it looks amazing.
They are releasing a 5th edition soon. So they are saying that this is a great jumping on point for new players. And a lot of people... based off the little bit of research I've done on Warhammer lately, people seem to be getting out of it a little bit, and so 5th edition seems like a really good starting point and people coming back point to the game. So you probably will see a resurgence in Warhammer content. We might not get into it again. It's a big game to get into. So
look, you see those Games Workshop places, where kids come in and they can have a go and they get hooked straight away and they love it, and it's very engaging.
Yes,
because the guys that teach it know what they're doing. And so if you've got someone to help guide someone into it, great. I don't think I've seen any clubs around that say there might be.
No.
There might be somewhere come and learn. And
there most likely is, because again, we're not involved in that aspect of board gaming.
True.
So, but I just want to, before we get into that topic there, I'm going to talk about the comment of the week. We probably should have mentioned this at the very start of the show. So each week we're going to be featuring a comment of the week. Last comment of the week was from someone named David DK. If you're one of our friends, let us know, because
we don't recognise you.
We don't recognise you. So basically, the comment David DK left was a suggestion for a topic for the show. The story of the Tabletop Nights and how did it all start, the motivation, funny stories, everything you want to share. How did Greg join, etc., etc. So we will be talking about that this episode at the very end. So if you want to know more about it.
We'll start on that, and we'll probably release snippets of it over the next couple of podcasts, because it's quite a big topic.
It is a big topic, yeah.
To be honest.
We've been going for 4 or 5 years now. We took a 2-year break in the middle there, so I don't know if we can really count.
Yeah, well, you wanted to have a baby and everything. And get married.
Yeah. And Greg started his shop, so it was a very hectic time. Plus COVID as well.
Oh, COVID.
Yeah.
I've heard of that.
So we switched from in-person gameplay to online. It just wasn't as fun.
It's not sustainable.
No, it's not.
It's just, it takes so much energy.
Exactly. So this week's question that we have to you to feature on the next show is, what is the longest game found or Kickstarter game that you've backed? How long did it take from backing to receiving the game, or are you still actually waiting for some? Because that has been a topic that we've been talking about in the last few episodes, and I'm interested to know what some of the longest ones are. I've got one that I backed early January 2019. So
I think I've still got... There's one I'd actually forgotten about.
It was that far back.
It was that far back. I can't... It was a space one.
Okay.
I'll find it in a minute, but honestly...
Mine is called Onimaru. They have released games since then.
I think you did mention that
in
our first podcast.
I have mentioned this a few times. They've released games since then. They still update this campaign. So it's like they've just taken the money and run. So I'm looking forward to getting that. I bought it to put on the channel. It probably won't get any views now, so I probably would just sell it straight away.
I don't know. It might be an extremely rare game if it ever comes out.
Yeah, I'm expecting it one day. Greg has 50,000 more games than me. I think I've only backed about 40.
I'm going through about 160 here, but I'm ready to stop, to be honest.
Well, there you go. Cancelled.
Tau Ceti. It was cancelled originally. Oh, is that the one? I can't even remember if that's the
only
one.
384 backers.
Yeah, I don't think that was it.
Relaunched. There you go.
That was 2016.
It's a bit sad. That's why we want to know what some of your big cancelled games are, or longest time that you've waited, because it does actually impact the community a bit. Especially, there's 3,000 of us waiting for Onimaru, and every time they update, it doesn't seem like they're doing anything. So it's going to be scary once we get it to see what the quality's like. If we ever get it.
Correct. Very good.
All
right. Well, thanks, David DK.
Yes. So we'll talk about that a little bit.
We'll talk about that at the end.
Yeah.
What else? Okay. Let's have a quick talk about Command of Nature from Unstable Games.
Yeah, so actually one of our biggest videos is Here to Slay on the channel. So if you are a viewer of Here to Slay and that's how you found us, let us know in the comments, because I actually really enjoyed that game.
I was here and I got slayed.
Yes, Greg was here to slay. Yeah,
Victor just kept going. I challenge.
Yeah,
on Greg,
and that's why I like the game.
I challenge on Greg.
Yeah, so it was cartoony theme. When I initially backed it, I thought it'd be a bit deeper because again they were like, it's an RPG. Like they specifically mentioned like RPG, and I was like, oh,
it wasn't an RPG.
It's not at all. No. But it was still a fantastic game. And yeah, thank you to everyone that's viewed those videos because they're definitely our biggest videos. But they are releasing. It is released now already. Command of Nature.
It's out there. You can back it now. It's got about 8,000 backers.
Over 8,000 backers. Still got 13 days as of recording this.
Yeah, and look, it looks kind of similar, but it's the art style.
Yeah, they do, and that's what
we love their artwork.
Love that art.
It reminds me of Kimber the White Lion and some of the anime stuff.
My Little Pony
from the 70s. Well, yeah, true. But no, that one looks alright, and it's got these really cool minis on there.
Yeah, which is different.
I don't know if they actually play or whether they're just this is who you are.
Yeah, so like the game I played, Icefarian Guard, with Nick, it's on the channel now. It did have a mini, but it's only just the marker to tell you where you are on the map.
It's like okay, yeah.
So that could be like that as well.
Well, look, I backed everything on that one. I had neoprene mats and acrylic standees and everything. But we didn't actually take them out of the boxes. We just played the card game. And I think we actually played it online.
We played one online and one in person. I forget which one did better. I think the online one maybe did really well.
I can't remember.
People were like, where did you play this?
I couldn't watch it because we did a practice game and I smashed everyone in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And so then Victor goes, of course, we have to pick on Greg because he won the last game.
He's the biggest threat.
I'm not, just you win everything these days.
Yeah, lately I've been on a bit of a roll.
I'm going to find a game that I know I will beat you at.
Yes, okay.
I'm going to find it.
Get somebody.
Or we'll play together. We're going to play the Grayskull AI scenario. From,
Masters of the Universe. Yeah, I'm looking forward to
Clash
that.
Returnia.
Because again, that's something that sucks about. We play board games for fun. But me personally, it's like 10% of the time. 90% of the time I'm playing board game, it is recording. So when we get this big Kickstarter exclusive and it's got a big mini, I very rarely get to actually experience that mini on the board or the epic part of the game because we've moved on to the next game. So we'll be going back and doing the Castle Grayskull mission.
We will.
I'm very much excited about that. So the reason we brought up Command of Nature is because we want to know, do you want us, these are the type of games you want us to play on the channel? Because yes, we like to play as many new games as we can, but we really want to know, to our returning viewers, what sort of stuff interests you, because you guys are the type of people we want to keep on the channel.
The meat and potatoes.
Yes. Like David, like we want to know what interests the regular viewers. So
that doesn't guarantee we can do it, but we'll try our best.
Yes.
To do it. But again, if a video gets 3 views, it's a lot of time and effort that goes into it. So
yeah, especially with games that take a lot of time to set up, and like Icefarian Guard, like I think it's like 50 views. So Nick, if you're watching this, don't know if we're going to bring it out to the table again.
It did look interesting.
It's really fun. It's a really fun game. The box is huge,
but
and it's heavy.
It did look more like a puzzle than like it wasn't a miniatures game.
So basically the way it is you have a game board that you move through. And each time you move
cooperatively,
it's a co-op game. Each time you move through the game, you do something different. You draw like a token, a chip out of the bag. Depending on what that is, determines what level of monster you do. It might make a side mission or something like that. So now we have a side mission on the other side of the board. So we've got to go through all these spaces to get there. Basically, the way the gameplay works is it is a co-op game, but you only use your player boards.
Right.
So you have a player board. Then the enemy has a player board, and on the player board are some cards. So it is a card game, essentially. But obviously within that, every time you beat... It's very much like an RPG. So you beat an enemy, you get some gold, you get some experience, and then you spend the experience on upgrades and stuff like that. So it was I'd never heard of it before, but Nick brought it over, and it was fantastic. I wish it got more views because I really want to keep playing it.
Maybe it's one of those slow burners, because when did it come out?
I think it's been out for about a month or so.
Okay, so it might still be people catching up,
potentially,
to be honest, and they'll be looking for it.
Hopefully.
And maybe you spelt it wrong in the tags.
Maybe. I don't think so. But yeah, thank you to the person that disliked the video too. No one knows you did that because dislikes are hidden.
Are they?
Yeah, now they're hidden. Not to us, but to other viewers.
I would say if you ever dislike, I'd love you to put in the comments, I did the dislike and here's why. no,
it's feedback.
Honestly, I'd rather go, well, if they go, oh, your title is clickbaity, or they go, you got a rule wrong, let us know. I never go onto someone's website or YouTube channel. I don't click dislike anyway. I'll just make a comment going, I don't agree with what you said, and here's why I don't agree.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah, I do agree with
You
that.
agree with disagreeing?
No, I agree with the feedback is important.
Yeah.
And again, that was one of my favourite parts of last week's podcast, is that people did disagree with one of the things I said.
It's very easy to just click dislike, and maybe that person did leave a comment. So thank you anyway, as long as it's constructive. That's all we do.
100%.
That's all we can. I just want to do a quick shout out to Pandasaurus.
Yes.
Who sent us a little press release around, there's a game coming out called After Us, which sounds really cool. I like it.
So they actually recently gave a copy of what was it, District
Noir, which we really
which was fantastic game. I think
very light.
We played it a handful of times. I think it was a what do you call it when you change a language of a game?
It was a translation from a Japanese game.
Yes,
I think.
Yeah, so original. Fantastic game. I love it. Go check out that video because that is a great game.
Well, let me just tell you a little bit about After Us.
Yep.
So it's a deck building game and resource management featuring original and intuitive combo system, in which players are each leading a tribe of apes. Starting only with tamarins, they combine their cards each turn to collect resources and gather victory points, attracting new apes into their tribe along the way. Powerful gorillas, resourceful orangutans, versatile chimpanzees, and wise mandrills. So this is like a collection deck building. I really like the sound of it. It just sounds different.
And it sounds, again, small, basic.
Yeah, well, it does have a little bit of a board, and obviously there's some images up on the screen at the moment. But it does look really cool.
So hopefully we'll be able to show that off a bit more on the channel.
Yeah, and it's quite puzzly. So we have requested a copy. Hopefully we get that so we can absolutely give it a smash.
Yeah, and they did give us another game that we can't talk about yet.
There's another game they will be announcing soon, but that one looks, I think, even better.
Yeah, exactly. Pandasaurus, they're killing it at the moment.
They kind of remind me of Phil Walker Harding games.
Okay.
The rules are straightforward.
Yep.
The gameplay is straightforward. They're engaging.
Yep.
They're colourful, and they just attract people to the table. So good on you, Pandasaurus.
Yeah, and thank you so much for District Noir.
Yeah.
So last thing we have to talk about for the day is we have David's comment to talk about.
Oh.
Greg is hesitant to talk about this. We've already talked about it.
I'm just saying, like, I don't want people switching off now going, we've heard this story.
But if you want to know more about us, then then here's the juicy guy. So basically, I used to do a video game YouTube channel called, I'm not going to mention the name.
Something clenched.
Unclenched.
Oh, unclenched, right.
We tried to go like, they're like crude humour. But our most popular videos were always the board game videos.
Yeah.
And so when Unclenched sort of died, I was like, you know what, I'm going to keep doing this board game thing. At that stage, really only played 4 or 5 proper board games other than like Monopoly and stuff like that. And so I was like, screw it, I'm going to do it. So me and TJ, who I still am friends with, started a channel. We would only get one board game every month or so we weren't getting anything new really. And then Greg left a comment on one of my hate videos. I think it was
meaning the board game Hate.
Yes,
it wasn't just a rant.
Hate the board game from Simon.
Yeah,
which I think I called it Come On at the time. That's how inexperienced.
A lot of people did.
Okay,
that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Was it a rule clarification that you left?
It was something about how the huts worked, I think, and whether you could go on top of the tokens, something like that.
Hate was one of those games that needed an FAQ quite quickly because a lot of people were confused. And then I was like, "Hey, Greg, you know, he's local. Come down. Let's play something." And then that's how sort of Tabletop Night. That's when Greg came on. But that's when I say Tabletop Nights became a proper YouTube channel because at that stage we didn't have anyone with a lot of experience. And TJ, fantastic guy, is more into the Star Wars miniature game as opposed to trying new board games all the time. And so that's when I say that the channel really took off, and TJ sort of just phased out a little bit and didn't really want to play different stuff.
Rowan was playing for a bit.
Yeah, Rowan, he's a really good guy. He didn't have a car, so he struggled to come too often.
We should ask if he wants to come back and have a game or something.
He was
a nice guy.
He was a really nice guy, and Caleb actually as well. Yeah. Again, we sort of lost a bit of contact during COVID. He's actually more of a movie buff guy now. He does.
Well, maybe that's part of our new movie channel.
Yeah, movie nights. So yeah, I've actually considered that. Like, hey, should we do a movie review channel?
I'm happy to do it. I love watching. I watch heaps of movies.
I'll reach out to him, see what he says. So Caleb, I'm sure he would come back if I offered. I was like, but just sort of lost a bit of contact during COVID. But yeah, big reason this channel is because of Dice Throne. Dice Throne really sort of pushed our name out, got the subscribers out. But yeah, board game channel is hard to run. We'll get more into the history maybe in another episode.
Because look,
there's a lot to talk about. Like when Josh came on, Claire, Dave, Glenn.
There was who was the other girl that
Gabby.
Hi,
came
Gabby.
on for an episode
and then disappeared.
Yeah, that's another thing that's hard is finding people, because you do a post, hey, looking for people to join their messenger, they record ones and they lose interest immediately,
and that's fine.
We always say that.
No crimes at all, because we go. Yeah. But more than one would be good.
We would love another female host.
Yeah, look, we just want a bit more diversity.
More diversity. Yeah, that's all.
Claire's definitely female. Don't worry, but even just different people from different walks of life and things like that is a good thing.
And it's good. Yeah, it's also good if we have someone that does back Kickstarter games, so that we're not the only two that's buying these games. Claire does, and so does Josh from time to time.
Absolutely. Yeah, and look, because to be honest, most of the views will come from new titles. But look, I think I've got a few ideas, Victor, about how we might play some older games.
Yeah.
And attract a big audience, but we'll save that for another time.
We will. And just want to quickly mention some of the difficulties of having a YouTube channel is obviously people actually don't realize how hard it is to remember all the rules while you're recording and trying to be charismatic and all this sort of stuff. You miss things, and you miss things when you're playing board games just not recording, but you're able to backtrack easy and be like, oh, you know what, I'll just get an extra resource here.
Yeah, or you've got someone else who knows the game who can point out and go, oh, hang on, we forgot that bit.
Yes.
We pick ourselves up sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we can't always do it.
And I'd say the channel right now is sort of in a rebuild phase because, again, we did, like I mentioned before, we did take 2 years off. I had a child during COVID. Greg opened up his store, so the ability to record was really quite difficult. I moved, so my recording studio was gone. So now we're sort of in a rebuild stage, which is why you see sort of new thumbnails. We're trying new content.
And we want heaps of subs because obviously more views anyway. The more views we get, the more attention we attract from the publishers. Yeah. And then we can actually produce, we could make videos every day.
Yeah.
But we don't have the content to physically do it every day.
Yeah. So if talking about money and supporting the channel and whatnot, the best thing you can do is just tune in, leave a comment. We don't make any money off this. Any money we do make goes straight into a board game.
Or camera gear.
Or camera gear. So yeah, it's not like we're making money or we're trying to... we got bills coming out. Woo! So, but if you do want to support the channel, we do have a membership option. I think it's like a few bucks a month, and we will be eventually, when we start getting a bit more time, making more membership exclusive stuff. We're just trying to figure out what the sweet spot is and what sort of content to produce for members only.
But super thanks to our 5,500 subscribers already.
Oh, yeah, it makes us feel great.
And it definitely has taken an uptick since we've come back with all the new content, with the new look.
Yeah.
So that's great. We'd love to get, by the end of this year, I'd love to have at least 7,500.
That'd be great. 10,000 is our goal for the next sort of year or two. Because once I think we hit 10,000, I think we'll be getting a bit more promotional copies. Because that's where all the success comes from, is getting the early stuff. So Lucky Duck Games, they're a fantastic supporter of ours. We get promo stuff from them occasionally. Pandasaurus. We get a lot of indie people indie game developers reaching out to us to make content. So If you know anyone or have any recommendations on how we can sort of improve the channel, it's all the things we want to hear, because again, we're just small.
We will take celebrity endorsements.
Yes.
So if you know any great celebrities who are in the country that want to come and play board games.
I remember once when the channel was, so you had just been on for about a year or so, I paid a Gandalf impersonator to do a voiceover for us, like, welcome to the tabletop night. But he didn't sound that great. Actually, like, he sounds like an old wizard, but he didn't sound like Ian McKellen. So I was like, I think
I could have done that voice.
Yeah. So we're trying new stuff all the time. We've got a few new shows like this and the upcoming crowdfunding games. So
yeah,
if you have any recommendations or if you want to hear more backstory, just let us know. But again, thank you for David, because obviously you've known a lot about the channel. We do have a David that played with us as well. I think he's got like 3 or 4 kids now.
Yeah, he's been pumping them out, that's for sure. And look, David's been busy with family stuff. Glenn is working his ass off to,
yes,
at physical work, not the fun stuff that we get to do here. No. And he'd love to be on the channel more. It's just time.
Yeah, he's a great dude as well. So yeah. So yeah, we appreciate all the support that we get. So yeah, we just want to thank everyone that does support us, and if you've made it this far, then you're a true supporter. So once again, this is a video podcast on the Tabletop Nights YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tabletop Nights, and you can find it on Spotify and other podcast sources if you just type in Board Game Bites. That's it from us. Anything else you want to say?
Well, I was just thinking, if there's any topics you think we could talk about, just
let us know.
Could be anything.
Because we have already struck.
Doesn't even have to be board games. If you think we would be hilarious doing your weddings and bar mitzvahs, let us know.
Voiceover work. That's something I actually want to try. All right.
You'd be good at that.
Hey, I don't know.
No, just your normal voice.
All right, cool. Thanks for watching and listening. See ya. Hey, you down there. Make sure you subscribe to the Tabletop Nights. And here, watch this if you want to see another video by us. See ya.